In history class, we often learn about major events, but rarely do we dive into the colossal blunders that shaped our world. Did you know that a student's fascination with a simple cloud led to nuclear advancements? Or that a president's heart attack revolutionized our diets? What about X-rays, hailed as medical miracles, later revealed as hidden dangers? Here are history's biggest mistakes and their far-reaching impacts. Take for instance Charles Thomas Rees Wilson, a Cambridge student interning at Ben Nevis Weather Observatory in the freezing conditions atop Great Britain's highest mountain. On one calm, frosty morning, Wilson's observation of an optical phenomenon called a glow sparked his curiosity. This led him to build a simple cloud chamber device back at Cambridge, initially intended to recreate this natural beauty. The setup was straightforward, a glass container filled with vapor connected to a vacuum chamber. When air rushed in upon opening the valve, it caused a sudden pressure drop that created tiny clouds inside. Initially, scientists believed these clouds formed from water condensing on dust particles. However, Wilson's meticulous cleaning of his device revealed that clouds persisted even without dust, leading him to consult physicist Ernest Rutherford. Rutherford suggested X-raying the cloud chamber, revealing cosmic rays as the culprits behind the cloud formation. This unexpected discovery not only revolutionized atmospheric science, but also sparked a new era in particle physics. Wilson's cloud chamber became the standard tool for observing subatomic particles, leading to breakthroughs like the development of quantum mechanics and advancements in nuclear science. Wilson's accidental discovery, while initially unrelated to his primary interest in weather, earned him the Nobel Prize and set in motion scientific advancements that shaped the 20th century. From the atomic bomb to nuclear energy and medical therapies, the impact of Wilson's cloud chamber reaches far beyond his original intent. So while Wilson's journey started with a fascination for atmospheric phenomena, it inadvertently opened doors to a new understanding of the universe, one that continues to influence science and technology today. But our old friends' X-rays weren't entirely innocent. Around the same time, they played a significant role in a much deadlier mistake in history. In 1943, in Oxford, the government faced a perplexing issue. Workers in munitions factories were falling ill at an alarming rate. They'd start the week healthy, but ended lethargic, nauseous, and frequently vomiting. With wartime production crucial, the high turnover was a serious problem. Was it the TNT, or perhaps that these workers were too frail for military service, making them more susceptible to illness? To solve this mystery, Dr. Alice Stewart and her team of statisticians from the Oxford Institute of Social Medicine were enlisted. This institute, a pioneer in addressing the root causes of diseases rather than just treating symptoms, embarked on a different approach. They conducted extensive surveys among factory workers, probing into every aspect of their lives, from diets and living conditions to work shifts and tasks. Their breakthrough came when they discovered that workers in the night shift handling carbon tetrachloride were the most vulnerable to sicknesses. Why? Carbon tetrachloride, akin to chloroform, vaporized in the sealed factories during blackout hours, causing workers to inhale toxic fumes. Despite the lack of chemical expertise among the team, their statistical approach revealed crucial health hazards. After the war, the institute struggled financially. To garner support, they focused on pressing health issues like lung cancer, polio, and smallpox. Yet it was childhood leukemia that truly captured their attention due to the soaring rates in the post-war era. With a meager £1,000 grant, Dr. Stewart meticulously investigated leukemia cases across England. She interviewed thousands of parents, cross-referencing their stories with hospital records. Surprisingly, a striking pattern emerged. Children who had been X-rayed in the womb were significantly more likely to develop leukemia. This finding, published in 1956, initially met resistance, but eventually led to broader recognition and further funding for her research. If you're interested in more surprising and unsettling historical facts, check out our video, 20 Horrible Historical Facts School Doesn't Teach You. It's packed with fascinating insights that you probably didn't learn in class. However, Dr. Stewart's conclusions faced oppositions from established figures like Dr. Richard Dole, renowned for linking smoking to lung cancer. He countered with studies suggesting that low doses of radiation, even from X-rays, were harmless, a belief widely accepted at the time. His influence overshadowed Stewart's findings, leading many to dismiss her warnings about the dangers of prenatal X-rays. This misconception persisted for decades until mounting evidence finally compelled medical authorities in the 1980s to caution against unnecessary X-rays during pregnancy. By then, hundreds of thousands of unborn children had been exposed to potentially harmful radiation, a legacy of misplaced trust in early medical practices. The lesson from Stewart's work is clear. Scientific progress isn't just about discovery, but also about overcoming entrenched beliefs and practices that can have profound consequences for public health. But this story is not even close to the worst of history's biggest mistakes on the list. In fact, it wasn't even the biggest medical blunder of 1956. The year was 1955. All was well in America, the economy was thriving, the scars of World War II were healing, and there was a sense of community still that extended to greeting strangers on the street. However, at the Cherry Hills Golf Club in Denver, Colorado, a different scene unfolded. President Dwight Eisenhower was enjoying a leisurely game of golf when he suddenly complained of indigestion. Initially determined to push through the discomfort, Eisenhower's condition worsened throughout the afternoon. By evening, he was hospitalized due to what was diagnosed a massive heart attack. Eisenhower's health scare sent shockwaves through the nation. The stock market experienced its worst day since the height of World War II, reflecting the public's anxiety. Questions arose about his fitness to lead during the Cold War as the potential vulnerability of the President of the United States became a national concern. Medical experts scrambled to investigate the cause of Eisenhower's heart attack, especially since cardiovascular disease was rampant among American men at the time. Dr. Ansel Keys, a prominent figure at the University of Minnesota, emerged with a provocative theory. It was unsaturated fat in the American diet that was to blame. Keys had conducted a landmark study across several countries, correlating high-fat diets with poor cardiovascular health. His findings pointed to a need for drastic dietary changes, advocating a reduction in fat consumption from 50 to just 10% of daily caloric intake. This theory gained traction despite dissent from scientists like John Yudkin, who warned about the dangers of excessive sugar intake. The debate intensified, with Keys vigorously defending his stance against critics. His forceful personality, coupled with financial support from the sugar industry, helped cement his theory in mainstream medical thought. In 1980, the first US dietary guidelines endorsed a low-fat, high-carbohydrate diet, influencing global nutrition policies for decades. Yet subsequent research has challenged Keys's hypothesis. Studies from Oxford University and other institutions have shown no direct link between saturated fat intake and heart disease. Paradoxically, countries like France with high-fat diets boast lower rates of heart disease compared to nations with lower fat intake. Despite these revelations, the legacy of Keys's theory endures. Supermarkets adjusted their offerings, and public perceptions of fat versus carbohydrates have shaped dietary preferences for generations. Governments, reliant on outdated guidelines, have been slow to update nutritional advice, perpetuating misconceptions that continue to impact public health. In hindsight, Eisenhower's heart attack was attributed to his heavy smoking habit, 3 packs of cigarettes daily, a habit that likely played a significant role in his health crisis. Thus, the story of Eisenhower's heart attack and the subsequent dietary revolution highlights how a single event and influential figure can shape global health policies, sometimes with unintended and enduring consequences. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we see you in the next one.